Welcome back to the beginner breakdown series where we try and break down to teach you guys exactly what these expert attackers are doing. I'm your host Judo Sloth. Make sure to go ahead and subscribe for all of my Clash of Clans videos. Today we break down the Town Hall 9 Hog Rider attacks, and each of the replays you're about to see are from Elite Gaming and their CWL Week 1 matchup against Dark Looters Z. So let's get into this and try and break down every single thing which is going on as best as we can. So we're starting out this raid with a Queen Walk. Now we actually only have a few Hog Riders on this base, but we'll try and break down and show you exactly why. But what is a Queen Walk? Well, it's basically using your Queen alongside a few healers. Now when your Queen is upgraded enough and strong enough, you will be able to take out multiple defenses and the healers will keep her alive. There's a difference between a Queen Walk and a Queen Charge. You will see a Queen Charge in the next raid. That is where you get your Queen actually into the base itself in order to take down objectives. Within this base, we're actually going to walk her along the side in order to take out some of these point defenses. She has the range to shoot over the wall, which makes it ideal. So what we're then doing is bringing in golems alongside wizards to create a funnel. Now the golems equally serve their purpose to protect the bowlers. Bowlers at Town Hall 9, you ask? You need to take them in your clan castle. They're obviously a troop unlocked at Town Hall 10, so you will need to take them in your clan castle, and you want to keep them well protected. You need the funnel created that is taking out the buildings with the wizards so that the bowlers will be attracted into the middle. Now 2 jump spells were used on this one. Jump spells are very important to provide access through the base. If your bowlers can't get through the base, if they get stuck hitting against a wall, defenses are just going to be shooting at them and taking them out. You need to get access to them defenses to take them down quickly. Rage spells and heal spells work brilliantly with the bowlers in the center of the base. Now this base was nice and wide in the middle. It made it ideal to get bowlers in, and alongside the Queen taking out a lot of defenses on the side, we only really needed a couple of Hog Riders to take out defenses on the back end. And to be honest guys, we would have taken the 3 stars with this without them Hog Riders, but it is a method you can use. Can you take a number of golems which will tank for the defenses, and just a few other troops, for example the bowlers alongside the king, can get in there and take down the buildings, whilst the Queen can do work as well. You might not always take her around the outside. Let's move on to a different base then, where we use a few more Hog Riders than that first attack. So you can see 22 on this one, but we still have healers with the Queen. So coming in from the south, you really need to think about where you're going to break in if you're bringing a kill squad. Now a kill squad is something where you come into the base and take out key objectives. So in this one, the enemy Archer Queen is a key objective here. She is going to take down Hog Riders pretty quick if you're not able to take her down. So again, once the funnel is somewhat made here, the Queen can come forward, but check out what else we can get from this to protect the Hog Riders. There's 3 wizard towers down at the bottom here. Now you have to think, when you bring Hog Riders in more of a mass group, they're going to be together. So unless you have spells for the entire length of the base, they're going to run into danger at some point, and wizard towers splash damage can be troublesome for them. So in this one, we're coming in order to take that out. Now notice how we're waiting here of the Queen. We've taken out the south of the base, but actually what we want to do is come into the area on the east here. So we're actually stepping the Queen along until she gets within that range of the clan castle troops. You can see she's just within that area, and a poison spell will very much help to take that down. Now one thing we haven't mentioned in terms of the Queen yet, and the Queen Walk or Queen Charge, is the use of rage spells. That is going to be very important guys. Basically the more you're going to ask of your Queen, the more rage spells you might need to consider. So as she steps up to the enemy Archer Queen here, she has a rage spell there in order to not only help the Queen get more damage, but to actually rage the healers. That means that that healing effect on your Queen is going to be even more valuable. Then the Hog Riders at this point can come in. We've taken out them key objectives in terms of splash damage, enemy queen, enemy CC, and very importantly, we've carved a path. You might have just about missed it, but the queen took out the final defenses in the middle, which meant the Hog Riders, being a defense targeting troop, did not have to go to that area. They could continue right around the outside of the base, where we could utilize heal spells to keep them alive. And just look at how many Hog Riders are left over at the end of this, alongside other troops in order to clean up. Now, cleanup troops, you'll often mention, if you watch YouTube videos, you'll often hear commentators talking about cleanup troops. What is that? It's basically when all of the defenses are down, but there are still buildings left standing. For example, gold mines, elixir storages, anything that doesn't actually target your troops. That is what we mean by cleanup troops. So you might bring some wizards that will take them down very quickly because they're free from defenses. So this base is a little bit different. We're going to take a little bit more of a kill squad. We'll try not to focus on the queen quite as much on this one and focus more on the other kill squad coming forward. So if you look at key objectives, then you can't always take everything out. You have to make a decision on what you're going to take, what you actually want to commit. So as we come in here with the queen, she's going to get the king here alongside a wizard tower, and you will see that Valkyrie along with the wizard creates the funnel at the top there. So when you're making a queen walk, you have to think about where will the queen actually go. She might be drawn right or left, and if you, for example, want her to go left, then you might need to take some of these buildings out. Army camps can work great as funneling buildings because they're nice and big and they're easy to take out. So you can see once we've done that, the queen is going to come down to this area. Now, if we forget about the queen walk for a little bit, we also want to make the funnel here to come in for, again, very importantly, the enemy archer queen. So a couple of wizards again create our funnel, and again, all we mean by that is that we can push our troops where we want. It's controlling where they will go. So the gold storage on the outside here is quite far away. These other buildings, now that we've opened up the walls, are much more likely for our troops to attack. Again, the enemy CC goes down with the use of a poison spell. Here comes the king and bowlers, and again, jump spells provide access through the base. So although we could take down the queen, because we've taken bowlers at this point, why not utilize them? We have the king tanking there. We can get a lot more defenses out of this, and again, when we zoom out, you can see just how much that affects Hog Rider pathing. Now that's very key in terms of these expert attacks. When the Hog Riders come in, again, you can see exactly where they will go. They're going to move right around these buildings at the top here, down towards the western side of the base, and they've almost got a straight line across the base. That is where you can see the heal spells will be used. If we hadn't taken out them defenses, and you just brought the Hog Riders in from one spot, they'd naturally start to split up as they went through the base. Then when you use heal spells, you'd only be healing the amount of hogs in that one spot, where if you can control all of your Hog Riders to the same area, you can use your spells much more wisely. We kind of missed the poison spell there, but the poison spell is very useful for clan castle troops obviously, but also in terms of skeleton traps. So often when Hog Riders are coming to the end of the raid, maybe you've exhausted all of your spells, there might be a wizard tower. It might be doing a lot of damage onto the Hog Riders. If there's any skeleton spells, traps there, the little skeletons can do a lot of work. So using that poison spell can equally help. You can slow down heroes if your Hog Riders are trying to run past a king, for example. But if there was a wizard tower at the back end of the base, you'd want to be taking that into account. Perhaps keeping a spell for that area or bringing in another troop in order to distract it. It all depends. Let's move on to the last one then. I wanted to bring you this one as well because it doesn't utilize a queen walk or queen charge. However, a few of them key basics are still there. The funnel is obviously very, very important. So instead of using the healers, for this base, we can actually get through and take out a number of stuff without committing a lot of troops for the queen. So as we come forward then, the funnel has been created with a couple of baby dragons. Again, if you just use one of them in an area, they get that enraged bonus, so they make an ideal funneling troop, especially if there's ground defenses in that area. As we come forward, we have a golem just purely tanking to save a bit of health on the heroes. Then we're going to take down that queen and king, and that means the Hog Riders don't have to worry about it. Now, you'll notice we're not taking out the enemy clan castle at this point, but it all depends on what's in there. Is it actually going to do anything which will trouble the Hog Riders? So as you will see, again, we've taken out a couple of defenses. The Hog Riders are going to have a lot more to do, but we have more of them. It's a lava hound in the CC, guys. That is not going to do anything to the Hog Riders. So we actually get the Hog Riders in quick enough to lure the lava hound, make sure it's distracted on the Hog Riders where it's not really going to do anything, because the Hog Riders won't attack it, whereas our Archer Queen would. So we want the Queen to not attack that. The reason we have more Hog Riders on this base, as we've mentioned, is there's more defenses. We didn't have as big of a kill squad. We didn't have to take the healers, so we can take more Hog Riders into the army. We brought a couple of extras in from the top, and that is something you can often do, is instead of just bringing them in from one area, think about if the Hog Riders have to move across a large area of the base, you can bring some in from different areas so that they converge in the middle, and your Hog Riders don't then have to run around the base from point to point. As you can see, we used a skeleton spell in the middle because we didn't need it throughout the raid. It just helps with that cleanup in itself, but the Hog Riders are very fast. They can jump over walls. If you planned it correctly, the Hog Riders can be used as cleanup troops themselves, and as you can see, many of them swagged at the end here. That basically means they weren't needed, just coming in for fun. So I hope you have enjoyed this episode of the Beginner Breakdown series. I've been your host, Judo, Sloth, and until next time, peace out, guys.